My topic is about the philosophies of educational systems in Australia and Russia. But first, philosophies of educational systems in Australia. Australia has a diverse education system, and various educational philosophies influence the design and implementation of its educational programs. Philosophy of education in Australia follows Plato and Pythagoras' views in their educational system. Plato's philosophy. Plato believes there should be an equal opportunity for every single member of the society to get free and suitable education. One of the other core values in the Australian schooling is social justice. Pilot Study 2003. The other reason why Australian education is based on Plato's philosophy is that they have a holistic education. When we say holistic, it is the focus on developing the whole person, including academic, social, emotional, and physical aspects. Recognition that education extends beyond the classroom and involves the broader community. So, let's have the Pythagoras philosophy. So one of the core values of Australian schooling is respecting students. In this way, philosophy of education in Australia follows Pythagoras' pedagogy that says respect for the students, including differences. Pythagoras philosophy. Pythagoras' educational philosophy emphasizes a holistic approach to education, focusing not only on intellectual development but also on moral and spiritual growth. Same with Plato. Okay? The education system in Australia is divided into several stages, each corresponding to different age groups and educational levels. The Australian education system typically includes the following stages. First, early childhood education, preschool or kindergarten. This stage is not compulsory, but it provides early childhood education for children aged around 3 to 5 years. It focuses on developing social, cognitive, and motor skills. Next is the primary school, foundation to year 6. Compulsory education begins in foundation, sometimes called reception or kindergarten, and continues through to year 6. Students generally start primary school at around 5 or 6 years old. Third, secondary education, year 7 to year 12. After completing primary education, students move on to secondary school. This stage is divided into 2 sub-stages, like here in the Philippines. Junior secondary, year 7 to year 10. Students continue with a broad curriculum. Next is senior secondary, year 11 and year 12. Students may choose specialized subjects and work towards the higher school certificate, HSC, or the Victorian Certificate of Education, VCE, or equivalent depending on the state or territory. Fourth, tertiary education, higher education, university or vocational education and training. After completing secondary education, students have the option to pursue tertiary education. This includes universities, vocational education and training, or VET institutions, and technical colleges. Tertiary education leads to qualifications such as diplomas, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and doctoral degrees. Fifth, adult and further education, continuing education and training. Adults may choose to pursue further education and training throughout their lives, either for personal development or to enhance their career prospects. Okay, so it's important to note that education is managed at the state and territory level in Australia, leading to some variation in the structure of educational stages. Additionally, the Australian education system places a strong emphasis on providing flexibility and multiple pathways for students, allowing them to choose between academic and vocational education based on their interest and career goals. so Australia and Philippines comparison. English as a medium of instruction. So here there are Australia and Philippines comparison. So English is a medium of instruction. Australia and Philippines, both countries use English as the primary medium of instruction, which facilitates communication and learning in a global context. So here po, let us imagine you're going to school in Australia o kaya in the Philippines. So it's like the stepping into a place where everyone speaks a common language, that is the English. So this language isn't just for talking. It's the tool of learning and understanding in both countries. It's like a shared bridge that connects students not just within their own borders but also to the whole world. Okay, so number 2, global perspective. Australia and Philippines, both nations recognize the importance of providing students with a global perspective. There is an emphasis on fostering language skills, cultural awareness, and preparing students for international engagement. So here again, let us now picture you are sitting in a classroom and looking at a map that goes beyond your country's borders. So in Australia or in the Philippines, they want you to see the bigger picture. They're not just teaching about their own places. They're helping you understand the world. It's like opening a window to different languages, cultures, and ways of thinking. They want you to be ready to join in and make friends globally. Okay, so number 3, inclusive education. So in terms of inclusive education, Australia and Philippines, both countries are committed to inclusive education, ensuring that educational opportunities are accessible to all students regardless of their abilities or backgrounds. So here naman, let us think again the classroom where everyone is welcome, no matter what their differences. For example, in Australia and here in the Philippines, they believe in inclusive education. It's like saying, come as you are and let's learn together. Parang ganun po yun. So they make sure that everyone, regardless of abilities or the background, has a chance to learn and grow. It's like creating a big, friendly space where everyone belongs. Okay po? So here, Australia and Philippines contrast. Philosophical foundations. Australia, the Australian educational system is characterized by a more liberal and individualistic philosophy, emphasizing critical thinking, creativity, and personal development. In the Philippines, educational philosophy is influenced by its diverse colonial history, drawing from Spanish, American, and Japanese periods, resulting in a more adaptive and varied approach. So here po, in Australia, it's like an adventure where they encourage you to think freely or to be creative and grow personally. No, it's all about the exploring your own ideas and making your learning journey uniquely yours. While in the Philippines naman, it's story influenced by different chapters of history. So ito nga po yung sa Spanish, American, and Japanese. And it's like combining this diverse experience to create a rich and varied way of approaching education. Okay, number 2, about the educational structure. In Australia, the Australian educational system is decentralized, with states and territories having significant autonomy. There's a focus on flexibility and diverse learning pathways. In the Philippines, the Philippine educational system is more centralized with the national curriculum. Recently, there have been reforms aimed at enhancing flexibility and relevance. So in here po, no, when it comes to how schools are set up, in Australia, Let us think of the Australia like a puzzle with many pieces. So each state and territory has its own say, making it flexible and diverse. It's like letting each part of the puzzle have its own unique shape. So on the other hand naman po, no, in the Philippines, it's a bit more like a well organized book. Okay, there's a national curriculum that guides everyone on what to study. But just like adding exciting new chapters, they're making changes to be more flexible and relevant for everyone. So in these two stories po of education, it's like finding the best way for students, okay, finding the best way for students to learn and grow, whether it's through puzzle or a well-organized book of knowledge. Number 3, cultural context. The Australian educational system reflects a multicultural and diverse society with an emphasis on respecting and celebrating cultural differences. The Philippine educational system values national identity and patriotism, often incorporating history, culture, and values into the curriculum. So in here po, let us imagine we are going to school in Australia or in the Philippines. It's like stepping into a big colorful world that where everyone brings something unique. Okay po, so in Australia, it's like a celebration of differences po para sa kanila. Let us imagine again, in the classroom where people have different backgrounds and they say, wow, that's awesome, let's learn from each other. It's like a big party of cultures. Okay po, parang ganon. So, in the Philippines naman, let us now think again, we are going to school in the Philippines. They're like storytellers or weaving their history, their culture, and their values into your lessons. Okay, it's like saying, let's not forget where we came from. It makes us who we are. Yan, parang ganun po yun. Number 4, technological integration. Australia places a strong emphasis on integrating technology into education, preparing students for the digital age and fostering innovation. While the Philippines is incorporating technology, there might be variations in the level of technological infrastructure and integration. So here naman po, when it comes to technology, Australia, it's like handing you a cool gadget. They want you to be ready for the future. It's like saying, let's explore this digital world together. Like that po. So in the Philippines naman, they're getting there with technology. But it's like having different tools in different places. Some areas might have more high-tech stuff while others are still getting there pa lang po. It's like saying we're working on it step by step. So number 5, language diversity. Australia's education system recognizes and respects indigenous languages, reflecting the country's cultural diversity. In the Philippines, being an archipelago, has a diverse linguistic landscape with multiple regional languages alongside Filipino and English. So here po, it's like in Australia, it's like having a language treasure chest. They not only speak English but also respect the languages of the indigenous people. It's like saying every language is a piece of our cultural puzzle. Okay po, in the Philippines naman, it's like the language is feast. Okay po, imagine a big kawali with the Filipino and English as a main flavor and sprinkled with regional languages. And it's like saying, let's celebrate our linguistic buffet, like that po. Okay, next topic is the philosophies of educational systems in Russia. Russia boasts one of the most reputable education system in the world. Okay? The country's adult literacy rate was 99.73% in 2018, which is the fourth highest in Europe. Wow! Nearly two-thirds of 25 to 34 years old have complete post-secondary studies. The general education is free from citizens in Russia. What is the system of education in Russia? The Russian Federation currently follows an 11-year system of education consisting of 4 years of primary school, 5 years of lower secondary school, and 2 years of upper secondary school. The education system in Russia is structured into several stages, and it typically follows a pattern similar to many other countries. So the preschool education, this is a non-compulsory stage for children from ages 3 to 6. Preschool education focuses on early childhood development, socialization, and basic skills. Like po dito sa Pilipinas, ayan po yung mga batang nag-aaral sa daycare na hindi rin po compulsory sa atin, kundi choice lang po din ng mga parents. Second is the primary education. Primary education is compulsory and spans from grade 1 to grade 4 or 5 depending on the region. The students typically start primary school at around age 6. So dito naman po sa primary education, yung same lang po natin is yung pag 6 years old ka na, nasa grade 1 na. Okay po, so number 3, basic general education. This stage covers grades 5 or 6 to grade 9. It provides a more comprehensive and specialized education including subjects such as mathematics, sciences, humanities, and foreign languages. And the fourth is the secondary education. Secondary education consists of grades 10 to 11. Students may choose between academic or vocational tracks based on their interests and career aspirations. Successful completion leads to the attestat o postrednem, the polnom, obskem obrazovani, or the Certificate of Secondary General Education. So, meron na po silang certificate na matatanggap. And fifth one is the vocational education. After completing the basic general education, students may opt for vocational training. This includes specialized courses preparing them for specific trades or professions. Okay, parang ganun din po yata sa may grade 11 and 12 natin. 6 is the higher education. Vyssheye obrazovanie. Higher education is provided by universities, institutes, and academies. It typically lasts for 4 to 6 years and leads to bachelor's, specialist, and master's degrees. Doctoral programs are also available for those pursuing advanced research. Okay, so number 7, the postgraduate education, aspirantura, and doctorantura. These are the postgraduate programs for individuals pursuing advanced research and academic careers. So the aspirantura leads to a candidate of sciences degree, while doctorantura leads to a doctor of sciences degree. Okay, so the educational system in Russia has been influenced by various philosophical, culture, and historical factors. Several educational philosophies have shaped the Russian educational system over the years. Okay, so historical materialism and Soviet pedagogy. During the Soviet era, or the Marxist-Leninist ideology heavily influenced education. The philosophy of historical materialism, emphasizing the role of socio-economic factors in shaping history, played a significant role. Soviet pedagogy focused on creating a socialist consciousness and fostering collective values. Here po, think of the Soviet era in Russian education like a chapter in a book po. In those days, the guiding idea was based on the thoughts of Marx and Lenin. It's like having a special set of rules for everyone to follow. Yun po yung tinawag na Marxist-Leninist. Next po is the social constructivism. Lev Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist, contributed to the development of social constructivism. His ideas emphasize the importance of social interactions in learning and the role of the teacher as a facilitator in the zone of proximal development or the ZPD. Next is the educational system in Russia has been influenced by various philosophical, cultural, and historical factors. Several educational philosophies have shaped the Russian educational system over the years. Historical materialism and Soviet pedagogy. During the Soviet era, Marxist-Leninist ideology heavily influenced education. The philosophy of historical materialism, emphasizing the role of socio-economic factors in shaping history, played a significant role. Soviet pedagogy focused on creating a socialist consciousness and fostering collective values. Next is the social constructivism. Lev Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist, contributed to the development of social constructivism. His ideas emphasize the importance of social interactions in learning and the role of the teacher as a facilitator in the zone of proximal development or the ZPD. In Russia, the educational system is influenced by a combination of historical legacies, contemporary values, and global trends. So, historical legacy of Soviet education. The Soviet era left a lasting imprint on Russian education. During this time, the philosophy was grounded in Marxist-Leninist ideology, emphasizing a centralized and standardized approach. The focus was on producing a skilled workforce with a strong emphasis on science, technology, and collective responsibility. So in here po, no, in Russian education, it is the influence by a combination of historical legacies, contemporary values, and global trends. So, in this po, let us think of the Soviet era in Russian education like a chapter in a big book. So, in those days, the guiding the idea was based on the thoughts of Marx and Lenin. It's like having a special set of rules for everyone to follow. So, parang ito po yung let's picture a big group po na of students that all learning the same things in the same way. It's like saying let's make sure everyone has the same knowledge and skills. Parang ganun po yung sa kanila. So the goal was to create a bunch of really skilled people, especially in things like science and technology. It's like preparing a whole army of smart and capable workers. Ano po? Tapos there's a cool part pa in here po na they wanted everyone to be responsible for the group. It's like saying we're all in this together. So let's work as a team. It's like being a part of a big responsible family. So during the Soviet era, the Russian education was like a community where everyone learned that same thing is focused on important skills, and they felt a strong bond of responsibility. It's like a chapter that left a mark, shaping how education worked for a while. Next po is global perspective. So there is a growing emphasis on providing students with a global perspective. This includes efforts to enhance language skills, promote cultural awareness, and prepare students to engage with the international community. The aim is to ensure that Russian education remains relevant and competitive on the global stage. So in here naman po, lagi po tayo mag-i-imagine, no? So let us imagine the Russian education like an explorer's toolkit, and they've just added a super cool new gadget, the global perspective lens. Yon. So now they want students to wear this lens. It's like saying na let's see the world in a bigger way, like that. They're making sure students can speak not just their own language, but they maybe a few more. It's like giving them a bunch of keys to unlock different cultures. So cultural awareness is a big deal too. No, it's like saying, hey, there are amazing tradition and ways of life all around the globe. Let's learn about them. It's like opening a treasure chest of knowledge about the world. Okay, so and the best part of this pa po is they're getting students ready to be international rock star. It's like saying again that you might meet friends from all over and you need to be ready to chat and work together. It's like preparing for a big, friendly, global party. So in this educational adventure in Russia, they're adding a touch of global magic. They want their students to not just know their backyard, but to be ready for the world's grand stage. It's like putting on a special lens that makes everything bigger, brighter, and full of exciting possibilities. Okay, let's move on into Russia and Philippines comparison. Emphasis on national identity. Russia and Philippines, both countries, place a strong emphasis on instilling a sense of national identity and patriotism through their educational systems. The curricula in both nations often include components that promote their respective histories, cultures, and traditions. So in here po, let us imagine going to school in Russia or in the Philippines. It's like being part of a big family where everyone has something special to share. So for example, here is both countries are like storytellers. They want you to know where you came from, like your family stories or your family history. It's like saying, let's celebrate our own amazing stories and traditions. It's a bit like having a family reunion at school. Next is global perspective. Russia and Philippines, both countries recognize the importance of providing students with a global perspective. Efforts are made to foster language skills, cultural awareness, and international engagement to prepare students for the globalized world. So in here naman po, no, now let us think again about looking at a big map together. Russia and the Philippines. Want you to see not just your town but the whole world. It's like saying na let's be friends with people from everywhere. It's like having 10 pals from different parts of the globe. So same po sila, Russia and Philippines. Okay, so yung number 3 po is inclusive education. Russia and Philippines, both nations are committed to inclusive education, ensuring the educational opportunities are accessible to all students irrespective of their abilities or background. So, here naman po, no, and the coolest part is everyone is invited to the party. It doesn't matter if you're super good at numbers or you love drawing. In both countries, they're saying, come and join us. will make sure there's something for everyone. It's like having playground where everyone feels happy and included. So that is inclusive education. So in Russia, in the Philippines, it's like going to school where you're part of a big caring family. You learn about your own family history, make friends from around the world, and have a place where everyone belongs, no matter what makes them special. Next is inclusive education. Increasingly committed to inclusive education, aiming to make educational opportunities accessible to all students, regardless of their abilities or backgrounds. Efforts are made to accommodate diverse learning styles and support students with special needs. So in here naman po, no, so let us imagine the Russian education as a big welcoming party where everyone is invited. So that is inclusive education po. So they're saying na, hey, no matter who you are or no matter where you came from, you are part of this awesome learning adventure, no? It's like making sure that every friend, regardless of their abilities, regardless of their background, feels right at home. Okay po, so now think of different people like to learn. Some might be super good at drawing, while others love numbers. So in inclusive education, they're saying let's make sure that there are activities for everyone, so everyone can shine. It's like having a variety of games at the party, so everyone can pick what they enjoy. Di ba po? So, and there are special friends who might need a bit of extra support. It's like saying we have to help you and we'll make sure you have what you need to have a great time. It's like having buddies at the party who look out for each other. So in Russia's education party, they all about making sure that every friend, no matter what their abilities or background, feels included and valued. It's like creating a big joyful space where everyone can learn, when everyone can play, where everyone can grow together. Yun po. Okay, so let's move on into the Russia and Philippines and their contrast. First is the philosophical foundations. The Russian educational system has historical roots in Marxist-Leninist ideology, emphasizing a centralized and standardized approach during the Soviet era. In the Philippines, educational philosophy grows from a diverse historical background, incorporating elements from Spanish, American, and Japanese periods, resulting in a more adaptive and varied approach. So in here po, these two countries, Russia had some rules in the past and adding kindness and understanding. So in the Philippines naman, it's like having a unique blend of stories that makes their education exciting and full of possibilities. And it's like being part of a special tale every time you go. Yun po. Number 2 is the technological integration. Russia places significant focus on modernizing education through technology with a particular emphasis on promoting STEM education. While the Philippines is also incorporating technology in education, the emphasis might differ and the approach may vary based on the level of technological infrastructure. So in these two po, for example, here po is the tech-filled classroom. No, it's like being in space where learning is not just from books, but also from amazing gadgets. Whether you're in Russia or in the Philippines, you're on the high-tech adventure, exploring and discovering with the help of futuristic tools. No, so in Russia kasi it's like having a high-tech adventure. They're saying let us technology to make learning super exciting, especially in things like science and technology. It's like having futuristic tools for experiments and discoveries. They want you to feel like a scientist in a cool lab like that po. So now in the Philippines, they are also bringing technology, but it's like the saying na let's use it in our own way, making sure that everyone can join the tech party like that. So it's like having fun with the gadgets that match what is available. Okay, they want you to enjoy the tech journey no matter what kind of device you have, like that po. Okay, number 3 is the humanistic values. In Russia, there is a shift towards incorporating humanistic values in the Russian educational philosophy, emphasizing the development of the whole individual. The Philippines places importance on a holistic approach to education, drawing from humanistic values and emphasizing moral and spiritual development alongside academic learning. So in here naman po, let us imagine you are going to school in Russia or in the Philippines. It's like being in a place where they care not just about your brain but also about your heart and spirit. Okay po, in Russia, it's having a school where they're saying na let's focus on making you an awesome person, not just a smart one. Okay, it's like having a school that wants to develop all parts of you, your kindness, your creativity, your and everything that makes you unique. So in the Philippines naman, it's like being in a school that's a bit like a superhero, no? Training academy. They're saying na let's not just grow your brain, let's also make sure you become a good-hearted superhero. It's like having lessons that teach you to be kind, honest, and understanding superhero qualities. So in these two caring schools that I gave an example is like being in a place that wants you to grow, not just academically, but also as a fantastic person. It's like having a journey where you're not just filling your brain with facts, but also filling your heart with kindness and your spirit with goodness. The last one is the educational structure. The Russian educational system typically includes compulsory education from ages 6 to 15 with variations by region. In the Philippines, compulsory education in the Philippines typically spans from ages 6 to 12. So, in here naman po, let us imagine again, you are going to school in Russia or in the Philippines. It's like that starting an exciting adventure with a special map. Okay po, in Russia, for example, it's like having a map that says, let's learn together from ages 6 to 15, like that. It's like having a long journey where you explore different lands of knowledge. No? Each year, you add more cool places to your map. No? Oh, now in the Philippines naman, it's like having map that says, let's have fun learning from 6 to 12. It's like having fantastic adventure. That's a bit shorter, but it's still packed with awesome discoveries. Each year, you find treasures of knowledge. So in these two educational adventures, no, it's two countries. It's like having a map that guides you through different ages of learning. Okay, let's move on into Russia and Australia and their comparison and contrast. 1. Centralization versus decentralization. Russia has a centralized system, where the government takes the lead, while Australia delegates control and responsibility to its states and territories. And number 2 is specialization versus flexibility. The Russian system leans towards specialization, focusing education intensely on specific areas. In contrast, the Australian system provides more extensive options and flexibility for students. And number 3, traditional versus inclusive. Russia's system maintains strong ties to its traditional roots, while Australia incorporates more inclusive and multicultural values. Okay, let's move on into the last part. It's the comparison and contrast in Russia, Australia, and the Philippines. First is the centralization versus decentralization. Russia is centralized, Australia is decentralized, and the Philippines has mix of centralized and decentralized elements. Number 2 is specialization versus flexibility. Russia emphasizes specialization, Australia provides flexibility, and the Philippines is moving towards a more flexible and well-rounded approach. Number 3, historical versus hybrid influence. Russia's system is strongly influenced by its historical context. Australia draws on multiculturalism, and the Philippines combines Western and Asian influences. And number 4, cultural emphasis. Australia and the Philippines prioritize inclusivity and cultural diversity, while Russia's system has historical and scientific emphasis. And this is my references. I am Maribeth Coquillatala, your discussant for today. Thank you, everyone.